Now, target calling. I'm going to cover target calling really quickly. When calling targets, it's important to ensure that you're clear and concise in your commands. If you can't pronounce names, and I appreciate English as a first language for me, but even then I fuck up some of the names. Call out the ship type, call out the first 3 letters of the pilot name, or better still, click broadcast. I am terrible, and people will understand this that have flown with me before. I'm terrible at the NATO phonetic alphabet. Try and use it though if you can. If you're slightly idiot like me, it's if you can use it. Broadcasting it's super helpful. It's super helpful for making sure that you hit primaries. When you're calling your primaries, also call a secondary. You can also call a tertiary. If it's small targets, before the first target goes down, if it's a small target, it might pop before you've even locked up the secondary. So lock up the primary, shoot the primary, lock up the secondary though. Once the primary's down, shift to the secondary. Once the secondary's down, that is now your primary. So your secondary is now your primary, your tertiary is now your secondary. Your primary is your primary target for DPS. With this, ensure that you're calling for your fleet to apply all DPS to the primary target and avoid splitting DPS. It's really, really, really important. And as Nessie said, some of the most creative phonetics. Tango Vango was my favourite. Anyway, Tango Vango Dango. Anyway, prioritise targets. Prioritizing targets is what can make or break a fleet. Focus fire on logistics ships, followed by E-War. Squishier DPS, followed by the tankier DPS. Don't do what everybody does. See the biggest ship on grid, and then primary the thing that is going to last the longest. It's just not the way to do it. You can do it if you've got sufficient DPS to kill it very, very, very quickly, but it's not advisable. I focus generally on the Logi first, then E-War, then Squishier DPS, and then to tankier DPS. You just whittle them down. Everyone on the Dommy, exactly. Everyone on the thing that's going to be a hull tank Dommy, let's face it. And in effect, Squishier DPS first, then tankier DPS is a good method to follow as it removes available remote repairs from the grid and mitigates the amount of incoming E-War, which is going to prevent your logistics from being primaried. Don't just focus on one high value target because it's expensive. If it means removing other ships from the grid first, take care of that. If more logistics ships become present on grid, you'll need to mitigate them again. So drop from what you're doing back to the Logi, and then go back Logi to E-War to Squishy to Tanky, and you'll keep racking up the kills. And when on grid fighting, make sure you're repeating your commands 2 or 3 times so that everybody is on the correct target. Situations do change in fights, I acknowledge that. Other stuff warps in. Specifically, if you're actually, just say for argument's sake, taking a fight in a staging system for like Frat or Horde or whoever it might be, they tend to warp stuff in. You kill one dude, and then 5 seconds later, he's back in another ship and he's on grid, and he's gone from that, I don't know, like a cormorant. He was in a cormorant, now he's in a Deimos, and okay, go and kill his Deimos now. And then he goes from the Deimos into the into the Dominix, and you're like, hang on a sec, what's going on here? It's the same dude. We've killed him 3 times. What's going on? Repeat the command. That's basically the cut and thrust of it. And as I mentioned, primary means primary. Don't split DPS. Put all your DPS on the primary target by the FC, called by the FC. Trying to kill 2 or 3 ships at the same time, it's going to halve your DPS application, and it will lead to more time spent trying to kill those ships, which is going to lead to more deaths. So load the appropriate ammo, stay on the primary until such time it's dead, then switch to the secondary. Lock up the tertiary.